So here's the truth. Most couples who lose the spark still love each other. They're not broken. They didn't fail. They just drifted. And drifting tends to happen silently and over time. You wake up one day and you realize you're good teammates, but you're not really connected lovers. And today I want to show you exactly why happy couples tend to drift apart slowly and how to make sure that spark stays alive in your marriage or bring it back if you have to. Hey, I'm Eric McDougall. I've worked with hundreds of individuals and couples, and the biggest fear that most of them have is this. They ask, if we love each other, why does our marriage still feel flat? So in this video, we're going to break down what the drift really is, why two people who actually care about each other start feeling like roommates, and the 3 habits that bring back emotional safety, connection, and deep pleasure and intimacy back. So if you watch this whole video, you're going to understand your relationship on a deeper level than ever before and have actionable things you can do to bring back more pleasure and connection. So drift is what happens when your emotional connection loosens over time. It's not dramatic. It's not loud. It's slow. And it shows up in small ways at first. You talk more about schedules and feelings. You touch less. You stop flirting. You stop asking how the other person is really doing. You still care. You just stop doing the things that created closeness in the first place. And every couple drifts at some point. It's a normal part of long-term relationship. The spark fades because the habits that made you feel close now have slowly faded. Not the love, the habits. I remember I had one couple who said, we never fight, but we also never feel close. And that's the drift I'm talking about. No conflict, no crisis, just 2 good people drifting apart because neither one of them is actively feeding the connection. Most couples panic when they feel this. They think something's wrong or they're incompatible. But nothing's wrong. You just stopped doing the things that created closeness in the first place. So the first reason happy couples tend to drift is this lack of emotional safety. It's slipping away without anyone noticing. Happy couples don't lose the spark because they stop loving each other. They lose the spark because they stop feeling safe enough to be open. Emotional safety means I can be myself without you. I can tell you the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. I can share my feelings. I can bring up hard moments without fears. And this takes collaboration on both partners. What kills safety isn't big fights. It's those tiny moments of turning away from each other. Your partner shares something small and you correct them. You shut down when things feel heavy and you go silent. You walk on eggshells to avoid tension, or you sacrifice parts of yourself to be in relationship. Maybe you get defensive instead of being curious about what's actually going on for your partner, or you rush them when they're sharing a feeling. These moments, they look small, but they stack up. And when safety drops, even a little, connection is the next thing to go. I remember there was a time with my wife, Kate, when life was good, and we felt disconnected, like something was a bit off. Nothing huge, just small things we never slowed down to talk about. She would go quiet, I would avoid the conversation, and we were just kind of living these transactional parallel lives. In those tiny moments when we slowly stopped opening up, that's how the safety in our relationship faded. That's how the emotional connection disappeared quietly. When people share less, they feel less known. And when they feel less known, they feel less close. And when they feel less close, well, the spark goes away. And so safety is the soil. And without it, nothing can grow in a relationship. The second reason happy couples tend to drift is communication becomes functional instead of below the surface, which is a little more emotional, right? Happy couples drift because their conversations get practical instead of personal. What time are your meetings today? Who's picking up the kids? Did you end up paying that bill like I asked you to? Hey, what's the plan for tomorrow? These are useful conversations. They're just not connecting ones. And this is why couples say, we talk all the time, but we don't feel close. You are talking about tasks. You're not talking about each other and what's going on below the surface. In the beginning of a relationship, everything is connected. You share stories, you flirt, you open up, you talk about dreams, talk about fears, you talk about what you love. That creates an emotional bond. But over time, life gets busy and we tend to get complacent. You stop talking about feelings. You stop talking about your dreams, about what you love, about what you're experiencing, and you start talking about logistics. And when emotional conversations disappear, well, intimacy disappears too. Because intimacy can only happen when we truly feel known by another. You know the moment you ask, "How was your day?" and they say, "Good." And that's the whole conversation. It isn't wrong. It's just not enough meat to stay close and to really feel connected. Third reason happy couples drift is that play disappears slowly over time. Play is the number one underrated skill in a long-term relationship. Playfulness, life energy, flirting. That's what we're talking about. It's about teasing in a playful way. It's about laughing. It's inside jokes. It's these small touches. It's that fun, light energy. And when play disappears, well, then connection tends to get heavy. Everything becomes serious. Everything becomes practical. Everything becomes about survival. Couples stop joking around. They stop being silly. They stop dancing in the kitchen. They stop touching when they walk past each other. Kisses become short and cold, and they lack connection. Every touch just becomes utilitarian. You know, I had a couple I remember once said, "We haven't laughed together in months." There was so much tension in their relationship. They loved each other. They worked well together as partners, but they forgot how to have fun, how to experience joy together. Once they brought back these small moments of play, the spark almost came back instantly. It's like they found part of themselves and part of each other that they hadn't connected to in years. When you play, your brain releases the chemicals of bonding. It builds trust. It relaxes your nervous system. It helps you feel connected again. Couples don't fall out of love. They fall out of play. Now, I want to share 3 habits that actually bring the spark back so you can implement some of this week. These work for every couple because they rebuild safety, connection, and play in real time. So the first habit is sharing one real feeling every single day. Feelings create closeness, not updates, not calendar logistics, feelings. I felt stressed today. I felt really proud of myself today. I felt a little lonely this afternoon. I felt so grateful for you earlier. When you share feelings, your partner sees inside your world. And when you can see inside each other's world, you start to feel close again. So starting to share your feelings and adding some storytelling elements to it is really going to invite your partner into your world. Imagine sitting on the couch next to your partner and saying, "Hey, one thing I felt today was pressure. I think I've been holding a lot in. I didn't even realize it." That opens up a soft door for your partner. Their guard tends to lower, safety rises, connection rises, and they most likely want to engage with you. The second habit is switching one conversation a day from functional to connective. This habit changes everything. Instead of asking, "Hey, what's the plan for tomorrow?" Try, "What's one thing you need from me tonight?" Instead of asking, "How was work?" Try, "What was one moment today that felt heavy and one moment that felt really good to you?" Instead of asking, "Did you take the kids to practice?" Try, "Hey, how have you been feeling about us lately?" Or, "What's been your experience of our marriage?" This is the switch from doing life together to feeling life together. And that shift, it brings emotional intimacy back. It's one simple question that can reset everything, right? Something like, "What would help you feel closer to me this week?" Couples hear that question and they immediately want to engage and usually melt into connection. Habit 3 is bringing back daily microplay. It doesn't need time. It needs intention. A soft shoulder squeeze in the kitchen, a wink across the room, a silly voice, a 10-second dance or a flirty text, a smile that says, "I see you." Play melts stress. It melts distance. It brings warmth back. Honestly, it reminds you that you like each other. It's fun. It's life energy. It's connecting. Imagine you're cooking dinner with your partner. Partner's there, kind of bump hips slightly, and you say, "Hey, careful, I run this kitchen." They laugh, you laugh, the air kind of softens. Might feel silly and awkward at first, but over time it gets easier. That's how you create the spark in just 5 seconds. It's the fastest way to reopen that emotional door. Here's what I think is most important to hear. You're not losing love. You're losing the practice of connecting. When spark fades, it's because safety's faded, because conversations stay shallow and because play has disappeared. But you can bring all of that back with some simple habits and some simple skills. If you want a clear roadmap to rebuild safety, connection, communication, intimacy, right? I have a free guide for you. I call it the Reignite Your Marriage Blueprint. It gives you simple habits that brings the spark back in real life. It's not just about theory. It's about actionable commitments that you can make to your relationship so you can transform it today. Your spark's not gone. It's just waiting for you, and you need to feed it again. So I hope this is helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.